Oh wait, where'd Ryan go?
Yeah, of course I hit go live button and it.
Was getting my camera stuff situated.
Gotcha. Look at that guy. Look at him. Look at him.
And to get that fucking ring light on there to blind the fuck out of myself.
Hey man, we're live. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Ryan, you good? Because I gotta start this baby up. Jared, you got the. Does everything sound good? I don't want to start anything until you're okaying it. I mean, I can keep on talking about stuff. I don't know. I don't know how we sound. I think I sound okay.
Yeah, I think
Not sure.
everything's good.
All right.
Turn Fox up a hair, but that's it.
All right. And you got
try to cover for my crappy voice.
You got Zencaster unmuted for now?
Yeah, it's still.
Or are we gonna? It's just.
Yeah, I have it unmuted so I can hear the intro music.
All right. So if we're ready, I can start it. I'm assuming Ryan's good. Jared's good. Cool. All right. Start recording.
We are live for episode 39 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, December the 16th, and my voice is slightly better than it was last week. I'm not Ryan Fox. I'm here with my fire team, Jared.
Hey, y'all, man. I have been cooking cookies for 2 days straight. And I still don't have the Godwall I want.
I've been baking them. I don't know how you cook them. We also got the Chronicler himself, Chad Ocero.
I've been doing the same thing as Jared, but I haven't turned anything in yet. I'm waiting to just dump 100 cookies on Zer's lap and just say Merry Holidays to him.
Subscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada yada yada. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us Bungie friend requests. The links will be in the description, as well as links to the Discord server. This is the last TWAB of the year. Jared, why don't you walk us through it, my friend?
All right, it was an eventful week last week. The 30th anniversary pack dropped. Everybody's loving the Star Horse. I think it got nicknamed as Juan by the community, and everybody's like going after the loot. And then an IGN article gets dropped of some hostile workplace stuff that was kind of going on at Bungie. A lot of crunch that was going on, mainly with the narrative team, and with the basis this kind of went on during the end of the Halo into the Destiny 1 and into the start of Destiny 2. If I remember right, I kind of got into it late. I was like busy doing stuff. I wasn't on my phone, wasn't on the internet, and all of a sudden, like, Discord has over 100 messages in it. Twitter has nothing but like people going on about something that's going on at Bungie in the past, and as I came into it late, it was like a lot of stuff going on. And what was your initial reactions after you seen the article drop and everything else?
I mean, I was definitely disheartened by it. Sadly, I can say since I've been a gamer my whole life, unsurprised. I've been playing games the whole time. I've played COD, I've played Halo, I've been on comms, I've heard lots of nasty things, and at one point in my personal life, I did want to also be a game developer. So I'm assuming that most gamers want to do that, and a lot of the ones that I run into like while gaming, I would never want to work with them ever in my life. And I'm assuming that some of those people have gone into that line of work. So I'm sadly not surprised by the way that gaming companies are staffed. Um, I'm I am happier with what Bungie does anyway. Like they've been running fundraisers and stuff for a long time, which is some people are going to spin that in one way, but it's still causing good regardless of whether it's for a bad reason or not. And now they are still one of the more progressive companies, and they're still working towards making it a safer and better workplace for their staff. And they've had that message for a while now, and it looks like more recently that's become something that they do want to really, really hit hard and make that a real reality versus a dream. And that's a really good thing to see, but I am sad about, the people that had all that kind of nonsense thrown their way, and it's always hard to hear about.
Yeah. So I remember. Do you remember? It's been a few months ago. They talked about like adding like a diversity team and things like that at Bungie. I think it's been since we started the podcast. We have discussed it. So that kind of raised a little bit of a red flag. Like, why are they publicly doing this? But things have always been like we're raising money for people, and um, they've always seemed from the outside to be like LGBTQ friendly. You see a lot of developers from there. A lot of them are very active on Twitter and kind of out. And then we have the Black Lives Matter emblem. We have the um, like basically any minority or like oppressed group. They've seemed for the last year to 2 years have kind of been much more progressive than other companies. Whenever I read that article that was posted on IGN, it seemed like most of that was from like 5 years ago or longer. And you remember hearing things about some of the people leaving the company, like Marty O'Donnell. There was like lawsuits, and let me just say, he has not been implicated. He has not been named in anything I have seen, but there were some weird things that were happening kind of around that Curse of Osiris time. And everybody like hated Destiny at that point. And then like Warmind came out and it brought the hardcore people back, and they kind of steered the ship going from Warmind into Forsaken and all that. So it sucks anytime people are not treated fairly or equally at work, whether that be promotions, pay, anything like that. That sucks. And I hate to hear that that happened, but at the same point, I'm glad to hear that things are better than what it was, but also realize that there's obviously still work to be done. So I feel like they say like, it's almost like trying to uh, take a cruise ship and turn it around, right? It's not something you can do quickly. It's something that has a lot of steps, and there's going to be things that are messed up along the way. But it seems like, based upon some of the testimonials that I saw on Twitter, I saw some stuff on YouTube, the developers, people that work there now, they say that it's better. It's not where it needs to be all the way. And let's be honest, that bar should be so high that we're never going, like it needs to be exactly even. And I think in like when my children are older, things will be different, but we're kind of in this weird place as a country and just as a world really. So, um, things are better, but they're not where they need to be, and thankfully they're not like they were. So that's kind of my take on everything.
I don't know like who all has ever like gone to a job every day and then never had like bad days or like a span of like a few months where like you're up against a deadline and you're telling your boss and you're telling your boss's bosses that, hey, we're not making that deadline, and they're in your grill every morning, hey, what did you get done? What else need to get done? Hey, we want you to work overtime. And you're like, I don't want to work overtime. I want to work about 40 hours and go home. And like, that sucks. And that's something that everybody has to go through. Well, I say not everybody, most people do have to go through. And then, there's some people that's not happy with their jobs and they move on to something else. And I think sometimes that's the only way to get companies to listen to and treat their employees better, is that you move on to something else that you better your life. And that situation is hard to come by, finding another job, something like that. But if you're unhappy in your situation, like, sometimes you can't change people, and getting some of the people that's like in power above you at your job, it's hard to move them out. So if you're in a position that's probably going to lead us to our next topic, where your mental health is suffering, if you've gone through the channels of your work and you can't improve, then maybe you have to look somewhere else to improve your life. And that leads us to Bungie launching a mental health page on the website, which is bungie.net/mental health. And with the holidays, it brings a time of year that, like, a lot of people suffer from depression and many other things going on in their life. So if you could follow that link, and it leads you to a list of categories that you're experiencing, and can take you through some avenues that get you some help of anything that you're suffering.
Have you guys checked out that link yet and seen what's on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's kind of like 3 paragraphs, and then some things you can open up with links for for suicide prevention, learning the signs, self-harm, anxiety, bullying and cyberbullying, and depression. So I think it's fantastic. I'm sure I've probably shared this before, but I am a nurse, and did work about 5 years on a mental health unit. So this is something that is kind of near and dear to me, and I think it's really cool that that stuff is there, because if it helps just one person, it's all worth it.
Absolutely. So, this time of year also brings us the dawning, and something we can all cherish and have some fun together. You bake some cookies to deliver to people across the Destiny 2 world, and have lots of fun. And this time we're going to bake some cookies, and we're going to grow fat from strength, as Callus likes to say.
Yeah.
So, of course, the Dawning brings lots of stuff to the Eververse: armor sets, ghosts, ships, emotes, and just like everything, transmats, emotes. So, like, you can have, if you want to dish out that wallet, and you can get it all if you want to. Now, there's some things to just earn in game. There's a ship that's for free. All you gotta do is do some triumphs, and then those 4 legendary weapons, which we'll be talking about that in a weapons breakdown portion. So, Eva, in the tower, you go pick up the oven and some quests. The first thing you do, you want to masterwork that oven so it takes less essence to bake the cookies. And then after that, you want to start saving up to buy these 2 things from Eva before you start opening up any packages. And that's Perky Presents and Perkier Presents. And what that does, it gets you ability to have an extra perk in columns 3 and 4 of the Dawning weapons. So, I mean, have you all gotten in there, baked some cookies, try to ground out some of that null taste that never seems to drop?
Yeah, mine was the melee one. What is that? Personal touch.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I could never get to drop.
Yeah. The personal touch, and then the finishing one.
Yeah. So Chad and I did some Michaelis runs the other evening. I messaged him and I was like, "Hey, do you want to farm some Dares of Eternity and just power through?" And he goes, "Why would we do that when we can just do the legendary Lost Sector?" So we headed over there. It was just Chad and I think it was taking us about a minute and 10 seconds to get through that. And each one was like 14 or 17 of the I always call it the fuel, the cooking fuel
Essence.
that you need. And I think we did that for 45 minutes or so, 50 minutes. And I got well over 300 of that. Masterwork that oven, so each cookie only takes 10 instead of 15 of the fuel. And because where your oven carries over, we only had to do 2 new ones, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, one for
Yeah.
Mara,
So
one for
yeah,
the other one.
Mara and Elsie
Barry,
Bray.
That's right.
Elsie Bray, yeah. So did that, and I saw on Reddit to make sure you equip the what's it called, Starfarer ship.
Starfarer 7M, yeah.
Yeah. So that's about 4 seasons ago. You probably got it last dawning. Put that on, and every time you get a kill, you're gonna get the other currency that you need. What's that one called, Chad? Dawning.
Dawning Spirit.
There we go. You're my guy. You always have my back, buddy. So you get that Dawning Spirit, use that, and at that point, you can just start buying those repeatable bounties and just cranking out those cookies, which is really nice because one of the MMXXI triumph things you need is to finish bounties, and those count as completed bounties. So it works out very nice, and you can get through that very fast.
All right, Chad. Before we get into the weapons, it's really nice having Eva in the tower with some voice lines every now and then, and she's going to tell you to keep that cloak clean, right?
Yep.
Oh, wait, what does she tell the Titans?
Oh man, when you talk to Zavala to get that mission started, he talks about bringing Keitel in, and then he looks over at some guardians, like in the tower. So he's like, well, maybe we should invite her over here. And he looks over and he sees 2 guardians like throwing snowballs at each other. Then they jump off the tower, kill themselves. They get res, they dance, and then they run away. And he's like, well, maybe our customs are a little weird. And I just love how they always like put in the stupid stuff that the players do as canon. Like this is things Guardians do. Like as a game player, of course we're gonna dance and be silly and jump off the tower and just do dumb stuff. But like they made it a thing that, well, I mean, yeah, that's just the way this universe works.
Did you guys see
So
that Dawning Warlock armor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is beautiful. Like the shimmer on like the robe. Oh man, I'm in love. I had to get $20 worth of silver. I made a terrible silver mistake. So are you guys familiar with the Microsoft rewards? Like the optional stuff to where you can like do like Bing searches and that
yeah,
stuff and earn. So you can convert those into like Microsoft gift cards. And this used to be how I would fund my silver purchases. Every day I'd spend like 3 minutes doing my searches and doing the little challenges. And like every month you got like 10 free Microsoft dollars. I don't know what the conversion of that is into Stanley Nickels though. So from there, I would go on. And so I had enough and I cashed in, got a $10 gift card. And then I bought a $1 gift card to cover the tax because, my wife doesn't really like it whenever she sees like video gamey stuff come out of the bank account, especially this close to Christmas because we're trying to get a Gabby's doll house. And I get on and I go to the Microsoft website and I buy my silver, get on, go into my daughter's room, get on the Xbox. My silver's not there. Well, I bought PC silver for the Microsoft Store version. So now I have 400 silver, or I have 500 silver on the Xbox, 1100 silver on the PC, on like the Microsoft Store version of Destiny 2 that I still can't figure out how to download. because I don't have Game Pass when I had it previously. And then I have, I think, 400 silver on Steam, and it's all, you can't combine it. It's like separate purses of silver.
Yep.
So I don't know. I just assumed, A, I didn't know that I was buying PC silver. B, I would have assumed that you would have just, that would have been like a shared thing between the Microsoft stores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're weird about that, how those pockets of money have to stay within those platforms. I'm not sure why, but like if you bought it on Xbox, like Xbox got the money for it, why can't you use it while you're on PC? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but
They get what, like 30 or 35% of everything that's bought through the store goes straight to Microsoft.
it's per platform. So like if you buy something on iTunes, right? If the game on like through iTunes, like it's per game has a deal with the app that it's on, the platform that it's on.
Okay.
So like Sony might take 40% and Xbox might only take 30%.
Yeah, leave it to greedy Sony, nickel and dime, everybody.
Exactly.
Remember, that's we're just estimating here.
You guys keep talking. I'll look it up. I'll find it.
So we know
we're not too worried about it.
We know Fox always drops silver on that, on everything. So you get all the Warlock ornaments, and even though he just
absolutely,
he just
everything Warlock I buy.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I looked at them and I was like, they look really cool, but I just got 2 full sets of ornaments with the 30th anniversary pack, and then I'm also going to unlock all the Thorn ornaments. So that's 3 sets per character. Why do I need to go buy the Dawning set? And even though I've said many times the Dawning always looks the best, it's way better than the Halloween sets every time. But I don't see the need right now. And of course,
let's be honest. Let's be honest though. Like the 30th edition, now the Thorn armor set looks dope, right, from the dungeon. But the other 2, that like the ones that you buy in Zer's treasure room, and the one that you get unlocked at the beginning, the Warlock ones don't look very good.
What?
They're the worst of the 3.
The Warlock one, you look like a Titan.
Yeah, look at my Twitter bio. I hate Tennessee, Louisville, and Titans.
Hey,
It's right there, right out in the oven.
Oh, that's hilarious. No, I like the leather Warlock with the silver skull helmet, and then you have like the halo ring around your arm. I think it's great. Just
just wait till you can change it out for the tiger helmet. Then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Then you'll be like, okay, this is cool. We're good. We're good.
But here's the thing: I use Verity's brow, so can't do that.
Yeah, you're right. You can't do that.
All right,
it's really too bad. Did you get Ryan? Did you get the Choo Choo Train Sparrow? Did you see that one?
No, I haven't. I honestly, I haven't. I obviously bought the Phoenix Protocol ornament, and I bought the Bungie and the Tricorn ghost projections to get rid of some silver on the Xbox, I think, because I had to get rid of like 400.
Yeah,
and then and they were 200 a piece. So I've been kind of like trying to find stuff, but I have not seen that Sparrow.
Did you time how long it took to log in on the Xbox?
Dude, I don't know if it's worse having to wait or how terrible that game looks, like with the frame at like 30 frames, like with the loading stuff, like the lines, how they're like crossed and then they'll do all this stuff. It looks terrible. Like it's gross.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I mean, I'm used to playing at quadruple the frame rate of that. So it's hard to go back.
Yep. There's been lots of reports that people are having like slow load times. I've been having them too, especially like if I'm in the tower, I want to load an armor piece and like change out like just to get my mod set up for an activity we're gonna go do. It's taking forever, and like I'm pulling up specs on my PC, like what's going on, and like nothing's showing me why it's being slow, and you get on Reddit and it's blowing up with these amount of people saying it like since the 30th drop that's just been so slow. So hopefully Bungie's working on
Check
that.
out that check out that Reddit like r/Destiny tech support. There's some good stuff on there that helps that I've used.
All right,
There we go. That's a good mix.
so that's gonna be it for the TWAB. Pretty short TWAB, really. There's all kinds of those Destiny moments and artists of the week. If you want to go see that, but that's the last TWAB for this year. So it's time to break down some of these dawning weapons. And first up is the Cold Front Kinetic Aggressive Frame SMG. This weapon's been around for at least a couple years now. So it's got a little bit of an updated perk pool. So I'll go ahead and get you a PvP role that I'm looking for that I almost got, not quite there. It's a small bore accurized perpetual motion harmony. So these ag frame SMGs, they usually kick a little bit more. So you want a little more extra stability. And they also have a little bit of a slow reload. So that's that perpetual motion is doing that for you. And usually when I'm running an SMG in PvP right now, I'm pairing it with a sniper. So if you get a pick with a sniper, then you run it in with harmony, perpetual motion at the same time, you're going to clean up at least one and then move it on to the next. PvE, I think there's some better PvE SMGs out there, especially the Aquilas one, but this is in the kinetic slot, so you're going to look at Hamelforge, Tac Mag, Subsistence, and Rampage. I mean, it's kind of the poor man's. There's the exotic SMG. That's the Tex Mechana.
Huckleberry.
Huckleberry, yeah, poor man's Huckleberry right there. So, I do like this SMG, and I got that perpetual motion harmony roll, but my first two columns are not what I want them to be. So I'll actually keep searching for that. But first on the list is this Glacial Chasm, and Chad, why don't you take us through it?
Baby, it's the frozen wintertime version of the rental, and I love that gun. I love that gun more than I love many other guns. But so since it's a void high impact, the high impact is going to be a little bit of a changer here. But for PvE, you're probably going to be looking for arrowhead break, liquid coils, slide shot, and reservoir burst. Jared and I have talked about it plenty. While subsistence is definitely fun, it's a little bit bugged on procking reservoir burst correctly. I guess it doesn't work very well. I think that's probably a bug that they're working on. But the since it is a high impact, you're mostly going to be using it on orange bars and up. And so you're not going to be killing things very often with it. You're going to be bursting things a couple times. So if you're gonna hit them with that reservoir shot, slide, reload, hit them again with that reservoir shot, because that reservoir burst gives you a plus 25% damage buff on that first like fully loaded shot in the mag. And so you're going to hit with that extra 25% on a high impact frame, slide and do it again. And it's easy damage. Sliding isn't hard. And when you're focused on one guy, which is really what you're going to be using that with, that's going to be the way to go. And then for PvP, we're looking same arrowhead break, liquid coils. And then under pressure, high impact. Just it's a go-to. It's an easy go-to with fusions, especially with the high impact ones, because you just sit there with it. You sit there, you load in. You don't even need any scavengers. You're like, I'm good with the two shots, and I'll switch over. Maybe get some more kills, pick people off. But it's just a go-to, man. Like under pressure, high impact's just the best. It feels great, and it's just wonderful.
So, Chad, have you adapted to the new charge time? I mean, I think this is standard out of the box. Glacial Chasm takes a full second to shoot the bolts off. So,
Yep.
how is that feeling
Yeah.
to you?
For me, it's still long. But I've gotten used to it. Yeah, I've definitely gotten used to it, but it's still a long time. I'm doing much more of a pre-charge than than I used to. It's wild. I'm sitting there and I have to think, start now, and then hold it, and then mount, like just round that corner and then get them. And I think I am really surprising people with it because everybody else that like just wants to kind of get into fusions, especially with the season the way it is with PvE. They're taking them into PvP just to try them out. But the high impact ones,
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you're standing still and just staring at them like, hey, shoot me, please. But it's hard. I think the adaptive frame ones feel a lot better for PvP
Mm-hmm.
at the moment
Yeah.
for everybody else but me, and the only reason is because I'm so used to it that I don't care about that charge time. I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
cross map somebody and
Mm-hmm.
frustrate the hell out of them
Um,
than than worry about it.
so Glacial Chasm can get the backup plan, which like
Hmm.
reduces their charge time, and then like you get like accelerated coils, charge time mass work, and then like maybe under pressure, just to pull it out as like like the old like I know they really nerfed it whenever Aaron Tail was at its highest powers, but I think you would need to get 4 of the 5 bolts at that point. But maybe if you get that roll, but try it out and see how that feels. You might like it just as much as going to the precision or adaptive frame that most people are using right now. All right, next weapon here is the Avalanche. It's a solar adaptive frame machine gun. It's also been around for a while. This is, I think, the 3rd year for it. And this is really not the best machine gun out there feel wise for me. So I could only really come up with a PvE roll, and this is just because it's a solar machine gun. And I think the only other one of those we have is the Iron Banner one, which is a high impact frame, which I don't like that frame either. So
Is there a Europa one?
There is, but it's just
Oh.
the same as this one, where it's that rapid fire one.
Yeah.
It feels the same as this. The thermal
Yeah.
erosion, I think it was.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? For PVE worlds, it's like the SPO 28 front scope, just gives you a little bit of zoom, a little bit of handling. One thing about this machine gun, you have scopes as the option instead of barrels, and barrels usually really help your recoil direction and your stability a lot more than what scopes do. Scopes are really just all about the range, and handling and targeting, and zoom. And then for second column, armor piercing rounds paired with auto loading holster and forefall. Really, I'd just be using this to pop shields. I think about it used to be Nightfalls was all about match game and getting shields to pop. Now we'd have to deal with champions instead. So, unless like machine guns get anti-barrier one season, I don't see myself ever really using this machine gun very much, or really just like I don't think I really gonna even keep one in the vault as vault space gets thinner and thinner.
I have plenty of vault space personally.
I think
Yeah.
that's the first time in his Destiny career he's ever said that.
I think my Avalanche, like I have like one from before that was Surplus and Dragonfly, and I've got a one that can either be Surplus or Subsistence with the Vorpal. Like I'll probably hold on to both of those, but I mean if they're nothing like incredible at all.
No.
Yeah, the problem is there aren't very any really good solar ones, and machine guns are also not in a amazing spot with Galley coming back and the effect that it has.
Mm-hmm.
Rockets are the much better option.
Yep.
And if you're
Yep.
piercing shields, you're using something else. You're using
Arbalest.
an arbalest or an energy weapon. So it's not really used in that way. Like I always think of machine guns, the ones that I like that feel the best, are the ones that feel like a really, really, really heavy hitting scout. That's it. The ones that feel like that are the ones that I
Xenophage.
like.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Xeno.
Oh, okay. No, that's
Listen,
that's a
there
blunderbuss of a gun, my
there
guy.
have been 2 awesome machine guns in this game. There was
Heir
the
apparent.
Delirium 21%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Was
Legendaries,
was
yeah.
an incredible. And then whatever that solar Vanguard one was that season, that was like a pinnacle that had like field prep and if you crouched, you reloaded faster. And
That's field prep.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the other.
I think
It wasn't like a pinnacle or ritual one, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It
as a
was
That was a
ritual.
definitely.
ritual.
Yeah, it
I
kind of
wanted
got
I
to.
can't.
I want to say edgelord, but that's definitely not
it
what it
did.
is.
It
It's
had edge in it though. I think you left out one of them is
Oh,
Hammerhead.
it's a
Hammerhead was
hammerhead.
the
Hammerhead's the best.
legendary machine gun to use.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well, I mean,
gosh. Yeah.
that was your trifecta. You
Yeah,
had your
Yeah.
solar,
yeah.
Yeah.
and that was your. And whenever we first started doing GMs back in like season 10,
Mm-hmm.
I was usually the machine gun guy,
Yeah.
just for the sake of shield breaks
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and the linear fusions. Those I use those a lot. And linear fusions are not to get off track, but they are fantastic for the Grasp of Avarice,
Mm-hmm.
the master version.
Yeah.
Um, I was putting out some wicked DPS with the threaded needle and like arbalest, and then I also had what's the hollow worlds or hollow words, the arc
Yeah.
fusion rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was running like just that was my loadout throughout
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing, and it was very good, very 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 good.
Yep. Yeah, that Arbalest, and I don't know if you got this catalyst done yet, but that catalyst with Genesis and 6 in the mag, it's gonna make GM so much easier with anti-barrier moving forward. I think me, Chad, and Shifty jumped in there last night and did the Devil's Lair, and man, Arbalest really just like it one shot every barrier shield. Like it only needed one.
It breaks. It breaks.
And then it hits the
barriers.
Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Like then you hit the Genesis proc, and you're like, oh boy.
You got particle on. You ramp that up. You eventually do 40% extra damage if somebody else
Yeah.
isn't hitting at the same time. It's yeah.
Mhm.
It's not crazy to say Arbalest has passed up Ariana's for anti-barrier
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily.
because it also goes through all the match game shields.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Every barrier is a one shot. Every single one of them, and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd sit there and wait for him to pop a shield, and then I'd hit it with the fusion so he could max damage right afterward. Like I'm just sitting there waiting for it, and then pop, and then I'm like, okay, I can leave it alone now because he'll just kill it with Arbalest. It's just it
Where does
feels
that
great.
catalyst? Where does that catalyst drop at? I haven't got it.
Anywhere.
That one
I
in-
think I got
that
it in
one in
the
Mina.
strikes.
That one and mine are the only two I don't have.
Oh, my! I think you still got to play competitive.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, let's finish up this last weapon here,
Yeah.
and is the Zypher, the Stasis Sword, and it comes with a new perk called Cold Steel. Power Sword hits slow targets, and it will eventually stack up and freeze the target. So everybody gets one whenever you're doing some stuff for Ava, but it's not the God Wall, so you still got some grinding to do. So you're gonna go Jagged Edge, Swordmaster's Guard, Relentless or Unrelenting, and then Cold Steel. Why I'm throwing Unrelenting in there is for the Stasis Hunter build. Whenever you collect a Harvest Crystal, you get an Overshield, and then if you're getting Unrelenting at the same time with Passive Guard going on too, you can just stay alive and keep sorting everything, and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw someone posted up on Reddit. I didn't save it. I'm really mad that I didn't. There was another one that I didn't save. I was upset about, but this one was someone saying, "Hey, Zephyr's really good with the Stasis Hunter."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming that Unrelenting was probably like the one of the perks that they were talking about. And they just went on talking about what they were doing and the setup, and I'm like, yeah, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That looks like a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that we got a stasis heavy that isn't just reads. And it is good that it comes with that cold steel, that extra effect. Another cool one. And I took it in to get some bounties done because there's one where you have to get stasis kills or something like that, and feels like a good sword. It feels fine, but that slowing hit, ooh, it just lets you wail on a guy,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels great.
With that buffs they did to Diamond Lance too. I mean, this thing and then Verity's Brow too with Warlock. I mean, this Stasis Sword opens up so many builds inside of PvE, and I don't think they are going to be like great builds for Grandmasters, but you're talking about just great builds for doing like the regular dungeon, a regular raid. Long as you're not like getting one shot or two shot by these snipers or something, and stuff like that. That this sword is going to be on the Stasis class and really opens up so many possibilities of just having fun and tanking everything. And this is a swipe up to win instead of spin to win. So
Yeah.
All right, that is it for weapons breakdown. Gaming Corner didn't get done this week. You know, we all didn't get to have time to play with each other. You know, during like this time of year, everybody's on at different times. You know, with different things going on in life. So we'll try to get in soon to do a master grasp of avarice together and see who's going to die first. So that leads us into
Yeah, I've been on call this week, so it's probably my fault why it didn't get done. So you guys can send me really mean tweets, and then I'll forward those to my bosses. Make sure they see them.
You gotta have time to do the gambling corner. So that leads us into the lore. And Chad,
Oh,
what
man.
we got going on today?
Oh my goodness. We are in the what's pre-finale? What's the one right before the
The
I
semifinal?
always think yeah, semi-finale, I guess.
Yeah.
But we're obviously going to go into talking about the the Vex invading the throne world. We left off at the point where Crota caused a tear in space, and some Vex started invading. Um, and we know a little bit about it. I have talked slightly abridged about what happened when we were going through the history of Korea, because Korea is a very important part of this. Um, but basically, we're going back into the eyes of the Oryx's brood or daughters, penultimate. There we go. Thank you, Ryan. um, and we're going back into their point of view because Oryx is kind of just letting them die and kill and do all that kind of stuff right now. Um, so we go back into verse 4:9 and says the Vex clattered around, constructing large problems. At first, their constructions were deranged because they didn't understand the sword logic, which defined all rules in Oryx's throne world. The geometry perplexed them. I'll cut them apart, Crotus said. But just then, the Vex ritual of better thoughts manifested a mind called Curia, laid transform. Curia deduced the sword logic. I have to kill everything, Curia resolved. Then I will be powerful. Crota's gate began to emit a warrior Vex, huge and brassy. He leapt forward to fight them, but they blinked away. After they fled from Crota, they killed 2,000 of Oryx's acolytes and 10,000 of his thrall. Soon they had established themselves as powers in this world by right of slaughter. Come forth, sister wizards, called Ir Halak. We need you. Ir Anuk pulled a sword star out of the sky. Together the wizards charged it with killing power and made it an annihilator totem, which they used to smash the Vex. Close the wound, Brother Crota, Anuk ordered. We will find a cunning way to destroy them, but only after they stop constructing problems on us. But Courier had instanced itself to the other side of the gate and built a holdfast to keep the way open. Courier's objective was to exploit the paracausal physics of Oryx's throne to become divine. It organized a series of test invasions. For 100 years of local time, the siblings fought the Vex. When the Vex came into the Sword World, they were inevitably annihilated. But when the Hive went into the Vex World, they lost too much of their power to win. Father's going to eat our souls, Halak sighed. Coria captured some worm larvae and began experimenting with them. Soon, Coria Blade Transform manifested religious tactics. By directing worship at the worms, Coria learned it could alter reality in mild ontopathogenic effects. Being an efficient machine, Coria manufactured a priesthood and ordered all its subminds to believe in worship. Then it was set about abducting and killing dangerous organisms so it could bootstrap itself to hive godhood. For some vexed reason, Coria never attempted to introduce the worm larva into its mind fluid. Savathun was laughing because she had tricked Crota into cutting that place. This drew the attention of the worm, our god, Oryx, called Ear. Set your house in order. Oryx rushed home and read from the tablets of ruin. He put some of the Vex into wounds to be taken by the deep. Thus he turned the Vex against each other. Korea manifested a range of tactics, but none of them were adaptive. Oryx crushed all the Vex in his throne. Oryx thought that he should study geometry like the Vex. It was the map of perfect shapes. But first he had to punish imperfection. My son, he said, this is your punishment. Come home glorious or die forgotten. He picked up Crota by the legs and threw him into the Vex Gate network. Crota battled through history, becoming a legendary demon. In his early centuries, he often spared a few victims to hear oaths and protests against his father. Later, he came to understand Oryx and made temples and monuments wherever he went. Meanwhile, Oryx brooded on the Vex. I've met a worthy rival, he said. They want to exist forever, just as I do. But I don't understand them. At this, his worm began to chew on him, for he was bound to understand. He called Zavathun to meet in the material world. She told him that the Vex worked tirelessly to understand everything so that they could build a certain victory condition for every possible end state of the universe. Then I must be a better king, Oryx said. If they want to build an emperor for all outcomes, then I will be the king of only one. I will follow the deep wherever it goes and document its power. Let us create a catalog of the grave worlds, which will be our map to victory. Oryx knew that all life could be described as cellular automata, except for that life which understood the deep or the sky, and thus escaped causality. Out of love for her brother, which was the same as the desire to kill him, Savathun leaked a secret to Xivu Arath. Listen, Xivu. Oryx's throne world has been compromised. You can cut your way in from here. Xivu Arath used this plan in ambush. But Oryx was too canny. The Taken King said to his court, the High War, my throne world is vulnerable. I am going to move it. Where? Asked Kagur, world render. Into a mighty dreadnought, said Oryx. I shall keep my glorious mind cosmos inside a titanic warship. To make his ship, Oryx scrimshawed one piece of Akka, who was dead but far from gone. He stole the hammer of Xivu Arath and the scalpel of Zavathun, and he armored his ship in Bane full armor. When Oryx had built his dreadnought, he pushed his throne world inside out, so it bled into the mysterious space of the dreadnought. There were coterminous and allied, his ship and his sin. The dreadnought was within the throne of Oryx, but the throne of Oryx was the dreadnought, Ayat. This required a verse from the Tablet of Ruins. The whole court worked together to push Oryx's throne inside out. This was a day of joyous violence, and all of Oryx's broods marked this holiday as Eversion Day, which is celebrated by turning things inside out. Saith Oryx, go out into the universe, my court, gather tribute for me, send it home to my ship. When I call you, walk up that tribute to my court. I will prepare for long voyages. I am Savathun, insidious. Into the war. I graffiti this notice for you. Into the deep. These books are full of lies. Now Oryx's throne was safe from incursion because it moved so nimbly. Oryx attacked the Harmonious Flotilla Invincible, who guarded the Nico thought ship. When the flotilla surrounded his dreadnought, Oryx put his sword into the hull, and he used the power of the deep and the clever systems his daughter built to push his throne world out into mere reality. By wrath and confidence he filled his space with an egg of his throne. He swelled up like a ghost star to smash the Harmonious Flotilla Invincible. Oryx broke the last word off their name. The Nika thought ship. Oryx hoped to find the location of the gift mast, which had been left behind by the traveler. Oryx wanted to eat it. But the thought ship was a trap. Upon it was Kuria, blade transform. Now through Kuria's eyes. I am going to kill you. I'm going to salt my meat with your briny little thoughts. I'm going to cook your flesh on your broken, molten hull. This ship is my throne. You want to take it from me. You want to fill it up with your own spawn and use it for your abstract purposes, but I defy you. You will never be what I am. Simulate me, wretch. calculate the permutations of my divinity, compute the death in the shape of my throne, render my shadow on the stone of 10,000 graveyard worlds. It will never be enough. I hold the tablets of ruin. I speak to the deep. Not with a galaxy of thinking matter could you encompass me. Behold. By now, Coria knows it can't win. There's something pathological about the world inside Oryx's ship. It resists analysis with hot, dead spite. And Oryx himself is irreducible. He refuses to obey Coria's simulations. He crashes around, sowing chaos. He grabs subminds and compromises them with some sort of ontological weapon. Paracausal systems, very problematic. Coria is trying the religious tactics it evolved into the Hive Manifold, but even on those terms, Oryx is strong. So strong. Coria won't be able to protect its gates much longer. The closest Coria's got to a simulation of Oryx is a best guess bootstrap. It's wrong. Coria's sure of that. It's Oryx, minus the symbiote organism, minus the wings and the morphs, minus the weapons, minus the power. No good for anything. Coria manifests that simulation anyway, just to see what happens. The Taken King marches on Coria's Hydra hull, armed with blade and magic, cloaked in ancient cloth, and the universe wails in horror around him. Coria's physics models and toy worlds choke and crash. Coria observes, alert and attentive, as a single quark splits on the tip of Oryx's sword. From within the Hydra hull, Coria's tiny not Oryx speaks. What are you, it says, its manifesting terror and awe. Oryx's eyes blaze with curiosity that is entirely isomorphic with hate, with voracious hunger. Arash, he says in his hive language. You've made me as I was. You've made a tiny Arash. Ha! Coria updates the simulation's name. Arash is curious. You are me? You are me as I become. Oryx kneels, his blade on his left shoulder. Coria is firing every available weapon at him, but his words do not break. He looks into Coria's sensors through the hammering fire and he says, Child, I have everything you wanted. I am immortal. I know the great secrets of the universe. I have scouted the edges of the darkness, and I have chased the lying god down galactic arms in a howling pack of moons. In my fist I carry the secret power that will rule eternity. In my worm I bear the tribute of my court and my children, the Hope Eater, the Weaver, and the Unraveler. And with this tribute I smash my foes. I am Oryx, the Taken King. I am almighty. Coria samples the Taux intelligence received from the Ecumene Gate. There are useful names. It feeds them to the simulation. What about your sisters? Sathona, Zero. Are they with you? The Taken King's flangs glint. The sound might be a laugh or a hiss. Coria shuts down its weapons and puts all spare resources into sending telemetry to a greater Vex. There will be points in space and time where this data is vital. There will be great projects undertaken in the study of the ontological power this thrown space. Where are my sisters? Arash shouts. What have you done with my people? What have you done? But Oryx's fist is full of black fire, and the next thing Coria sees is a light like stars. I have a gift for you, says Oryx. Savathun, Witch Queen, looks at him with dry wariness. It is the sword logic. I need to go into the deep and take your powers for myself. Their echoes move among the war moons walking together on the hull of a 2,000-year-old warship. Savathun's fleet has assembled there in preparation for an assault on the gift mast. The deep is headed that way, on the trail of its prey, and the hive will be its vanguard. It's Vex I captured, Coria, blade transform. It made an attempt to puncture my throne. I thought you might enjoy studying it. Oryx pauses, digesting. Through the blood bond of lineage, he can feel Crota killing worlds and worlds away, and it tastes like sweet fat. Coria contains a Vex simulation of me. It might generate others, you perhaps, or Zivu or Roth. I've left it some will of its own, so it can surprise you. I suppose it'll blow up and kill me, Savathun grouses, or let the machines into my throne, where they'll start turning everything into clocks and glass. If it kills you, then you deserve to die, Oryx says with a quiet thrill, a happy thrill, because it is good to say the truth. I don't have strict proof yet, you know. Savathun strokes the void with one long claw. Space-time groans beneath her touch. This thing we believe that we're liberating the universe by devouring it. that we're cutting out the rot and we're on course to join the final shape. I haven't found a single eternal proof. We might yet be wrong. Oryx looks at her, and for a moment, just a moment, he is nostalgic. He is sentimental. He thinks, imagine the years behind us and the things we've done, and yet being old doesn't feel like a scar, does it? It doesn't let me feel dull. I feel alive, alive with you, and every time I step back into this world from my throne, I feel like 2 years old again, at the bottom of the universe looking up. But he says, sister, it's us. We are the proof, we the hive. If we last forever, we prove it. And if something more ruthless conquers us, then the proof is sealed. She looks back at him with eyes hot like needles. I like that, she says. That's elegant. Although, of course, she has had this thought before. And that's where I will leave it now. But I am excited to say that in part of it, there is, you know how when Savathun talks to us, she's in brackets, like not parentheses, but actual brackets. Part of that when he's saying his like prayer to turn his ship into the throne world, she is speaking to us, where she's I am Savathun Insidious. I graffiti this notice for you. This books are full of lies. She's done that before plenty of times to us. And she also here makes another note at the end, well, at the end of where we're at, um, where she's like, I don't have any proof that what we're doing is the correct path. We might be wrong. And that might be her leading us, knowing that we're going to be reading it because she made a note previously,
Mm-hmm.
trying to kind of subvert our thoughts of her. And I know this was a long time ago, and people probably forgot about it, but it was her first little dip into trying to trick us into thinking maybe she's light, maybe she can be changed. Um, don't shake your head, Ryan. We don't know,
So,
but it's fun to see. It's definitely fun to see.
She be tripping.
so Chad, I'm guessing you watched the little trailer reveal at games, the Game Awards, and where how it's like a little, like we're kind of like going back to Mars for the first mission of Witch Queen, right? What is going on there, lore-wise, of what you've seen?
So we know she's talking to Ikora, and at the end we see Eris. We know that Eris is well into the darkness abilities. She obviously doesn't feel great about the light from what's happened to her and what she saw happen to her friends. But we know that her and the Drifter and Elsie are very much on that darkness train. Now we saw um, we saw the team of three, like we said in all the previous trailers. We've seen the same team, Titan, Warlock, Hunter, going through that landscape, going through Mars, kind of going on an adventure, figuring out what's going on. For now, we know is she's reporting it to Ikora, which we saw on her board. So a lot of those pictures are probably from them doing their own thing. They might be like a good solid group of the hidden, that are a mix of classes. But we I'm the thing that's really puzzling me, and is I'm wondering if she subverts the darkness's hold on Mars, or is like, because are we on Mars,
Mm-hmm.
or is this just a moon like Phobos? Because we see that red landscape. So is she like pulling it out of that darkness space, like the entire planet, and it's there?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where she's gonna park her whole throne world, or is it something else that's happening? Um, I'm definitely very curious as to see what's going on. I kind of want to watch all the trailers like in a row,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of stitch together in my brain all the moments that the fire team's having.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm really excited to hit Mars again. I love Mars.
Whether you liked it or not, we're going back. All right. All right, Fox. It's time for a little more history of Bungie.
All right. So, full disclosure, I had planned on doing a marathon and missed both this week. However, I think it's going to take too much time, and we're kind of trying to keep this a little light. So, Last time we talked about NOP or GNOP. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. We talked about the tank game where you fight Saddam Hussein at the end. We talked about pathways and like the labyrinth that you go into with the different multiple endings. And after that, and we talked about Minotaur as well. So coming off the success of pathways, they decide they're going to, they being our boy Jason Jones and Alex Seropian, decide they're going to start working on the sequel to that game. However, later this game turned into Marathon as opposed to a sequel to Pathways. So this game had kind of two unique traits about it. The minor one was that this was the first game that you could do grenade hops on. So you think about Halo, you throw your frag grenade down, you jump, and the physics kind of blows you up, and you can kind of reach places that you shouldn't be able to reach. The most important thing this game did, this was the first game that gave you verticality while aiming. So you think about games prior to this, you had like Doom, System Shock. Those games, you just can only pan left or right, right? This game, you can now go up, down, left, or right. So pretty big deal. So one of the things that they took from Pathways was how everybody really resonated with the story. Remember, this was the game to where the god was in the temple underneath, and you have like 5 days to kill the god. And there were 3 different endings, and I think it was like 8 special forces members go down, and so they have this game, and they add terminals, and the terminals builds out the world lore. This is where you learn about like the ship that you're on, the crewmates, the messages back and forth between people. All the stuff that Chad would go like head over heels for are in these terminals that are placed. So if you think up, there was a pretty cool hat tip to this back in Halo 3. There was an achievement to go and access all 7 of the terminals that were in Halo 3. The name of that achievement was called Marathon Man. So I thought that was pretty nifty there. They worked 14-hour days for 6 months in order to meet the deadline to get this game shipped. It kind of matches up with what we talked about earlier in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And the game shipped on December the 14th, 1994. Jared, why would that be an important date? Think for 1 second.
December 14th, 1994.
Very easy.
I mean, it's
right. It made it before Christmas, right? So they're getting that Christmas money.
Okay.
Right. So that was why they had to crunch to get it. They didn't want to release after Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, Bungie, they're not rich at this point, right? They basically, what they're doing is they're investing everything they have into the game they're making, and then it's allowing them to get a little bit broader of a scope, hire another person, hire 2 people. So everything's going back in at this point. So this game had a very high demand because the Macworld Expo, which I did a very small amount of research. It was it almost seemed like a very small E3, but it was only Macintosh stuff that was there, right? So they went in, and in one day, all the staff that was there, which is like 4 or 5 people, I think at this point, if I recall correctly, they take this and they actually pack the boxes and seal them and mail them out themselves. This was this game, very good reviews. Everybody loved it. It was, remember, back then in PC, you had Doom and System Shock. Those were the shooters. Those games were not on Mac. This was Mac's answer to those games. And, it was exclusive. So by the time it was all said and done, like the whole lifespan, they said that this game sold between 150,000 and 200,000 copies. It never reached 200. Um, you'll actually see that none of these games reached 200, but they were all very close to selling 200,000 copies.
So this is like
So,
whenever the PC world was split, like you couldn't have
right. It's Xbox, PlayStation,
Yeah.
like console exclusives, right? So, which that will come up. That was a very good segue. You're about 45 seconds too quick on me, though. So, we talked about this game. It came out 12/14/94. The sequel came out 11/24/95. So I think I did the math. It was something like 49 weeks later they released a sequel. I'm sure I'm going to butcher this name. Marathon Durandal, Durandal. If that looks familiar, it is probably because you maybe if you're like an Xbox 360 veteran, this game was actually released on the Xbox Live Arcade. You could get this game and you could play through it. And obviously, it being a Bungie game, I did it, and it was impossible for me to go through and play. It just, you could tell it was, you could tell that the game at the time was 20 years old, and I'm sure it feels 30 years old now. So with this game, a lot more was put into the multiplayer. The original game, the original Marathon, it had two game types. It had like free for all and team slayer, right? They weren't called that then. I wish I would have kept them pulled up what they were called because it was funny.
It was
But
like
this
every
game
man for
added,
himself.
yeah, every man for himself, and I can't recall what the team slayer version of that was. But this, the game type that they added in this, they added, I think they were up to 8 total. My favorite was called Kill the Man with the Ball. So obviously that was oddball. And if you go and look at footage, the oddball is a skull, just like it is in Halo. You got to hold the ball to earn points. So this game also notable because it added a shotgun. That is the shotgun that we are getting to drop from Zur's little treasure chest there. This game outsold the predecessor, introduced co-op. Remember we talked about Alex Serobian, which was the original guy, the founder. He wanted to increase market share. So what does he do? He signs a deal to bring this game to Windows 95, which really upset the Mac player base. Like we mentioned, it's console wars all the way back then, or the equivalent of that. This game also sold just below 200,000 copies, but pretty close to it. Now, to finish out the trilogy, we have Marathon Infinity. So, Marathon Infinity launched October the 15th, 1996. So, there's basically less than a year between all of these games. I bet if we sat here long enough, and if you guys didn't have my notes in front of you on this shared document, I bet you would be surprised that the main thing they added in this game was Forge. And they also added, which Forge allowed people to like make maps. And they also added a thing called Anvil, which lets you edit the engine. So they basically turned it over to the players, and the players were making maps, which sounds pretty familiar.
Yeah.
This game did have 23 total multiplayer maps. They had a very big multiplayer suite, and it had like co-op missions you could do, and there were 3 extra hard levels, which were called Vidmaster challenges. So you think about the title for the 30th anniversary is Vidmaster. The Halo 3 and the ODST Vidmaster challenge achievements to get the recon armor, so there's been many many callbacks back to that. This game also, it gave the illusion of like a branching story that had multiple endings. but no matter what happened, you always ended up kind of funneled into the same place. So after this, this ends the trilogy, and next week I will touch base on what happens next. We're almost to Halo. We're not quite there, but there's some really cool stuff coming here in the future.
Awesome. Man, I'm really enjoying this. You get the history of Destiny, as in what started it all with the Books of Sorrow, and then now we'll go into back from Bungie's beginnings. All right, it's time for the mailbag. All right, so Gallahorn's pretty hot right now, and then everybody's pairing it with other rocket launchers. So this question is, what is your best rocket launcher to pair with Gallahorn? So I know I had a pretty good hothead to drop whenever we was doing some Grandmasters, and mine has Demolitionist, Clown Cartridge, and Impact Casing. So that's like shooting 3 rockets out without having to reload. And then say if I have a subclass with 2 grenades, or the Hunter with some with 2 grenades also, it could all happen. So I can do 6 rockets with only reloading once. So I think that is my best rocket to pair with Gallahorn. Which
I know we. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm imagining there's going to be an encounter in the Witch Queen raid that's going to be the play at some point.
Yep. Yeah, I know. We always say no free ads, but Chad's favorite content creator, Dado Wado, put out a damage testing video that I watched this morning, and it was basically Clown Cartridge Rocket was kind of, because with Gallahorn, he said there was some sort of hidden, what's it, horseshoes and hand grenades perk.
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
With Gallahorn, to where you didn't always get the impact damage. So if you get, I think it was Hothead, and it was the Vanguard
Royal
rocket.
Entry.
Royal Entry. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
Chad's on his game. So like those with Clown Cartridge and what was the other perk? Do you remember, Chad?
Oh gosh, I watched it when it came out, and that was a while ago. I remember it was Clown and shoot.
You could do field prep in the third column depends on the weapon.
That's what I was thinking. It was field prep, because it'll let you reload even faster if you're crouched.
Right. Yep. So that's the play, because everybody gets the wolf pack rounds as long as one person has it. So I think Jared's right. There's going to be a point, because it was a pretty substantial increase in the deeps with those rockets.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever the hothead comes around, because right now it's Comedian and Shadow Price.
Yeah,
I want to say this week.
Yeah.
So whenever a hothead comes around, it might be in our best interest to do 4 or 5, try to grind it out and see if we get anything. I'm sure Chad will get the best one. He gets all the drops.
Yeah.
Double rewards this week too. So like I didn't have.
Yeah. So if you want to,
just
if you want a comedian,
just now got one.
Was it your first one?
Yeah, it's my first one.
Nice.
Did you get a good roll on it?
No, subsistence thresh.
Yeah, they say that thresh is pretty nasty in PvP now. I was reading. I haven't tested anything. I haven't been in PvP in weeks. Like weeks.
It's probably better for your health.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are talking to a guy that's been to the lighthouse 6 times. No big deal. So.
Yeah. But as far as going back to the original question with the rockets, I do not have a good hothead. I do not have any hotheads that are worth mentioning, any whatsoever. But I do have every flavor of rocket with what used to be good now was impulse and lasting impressions.
Mm-hmm.
So just super fast rockets that sit there and then blow up. So I got a royal entry with that. I got the one from Keitel that she gave me, and then there's a void one that I also got. But now I'm like, well, I never got a clown cartridge Royal Entry, I would have kept it because I'm like, clown cartridge is fun on rockets, but
Yeah.
I'm looking through my vault and I'm like, I don't have a single one. So I'm gonna have to start doing some kind of grinding for something good. But I think can the Vault of Glass roll clown or no?
It can
The
get o-
Heathen's Vengeance
it can get overflow.
Overflow. I knew Overflow, uh, but I mean,
Which
unless you're sitting on
overflow,
top of a bunch of ammo
Yeah.
bricks,
right?
you're not
Yeah,
gonna you're not
overflow is
gonna
not consistent to proc. That's the trouble.
yeah yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'll be running my Royal Entry until I get a better one,
Can you get
depending on the flavor.
I'm not hothead. I mean, I know I could easily look this up, but I'll ask Jared because he usually knows. Can you get clown and then the one where you get the orbs of light that gives you the
Explosive light.
That's in the same.
explosive light?
That's in the same column.
They're in the same column.
Yep.
That's unfortunate because that would have been dirty.
Yeah.
Gross.
All right. Question 2. Have any of y'all gotten the other half sword to drop? It seemed to escape me. Yes, I've gotten 3 to drop. I've kept all 3. I think only one of them is worth a dang, but I did get Eager Edge in that third column, and then I got surrounded in column 4. So that Eager Edge just makes this game so fun. Like, if you haven't got a sword with Eager Edge yet, just put it on and leave it on, and just zoom around everywhere, and then like pair it with Lion Rampants, Stompies, Top Tree Dawn. Like, the speedrunners are probably breaking all their records from before. Probably they probably got War Line, pre-nerf War Line times.
Right. That the videos of people doing the one encounter I don't want to spoil in case somebody hasn't done the dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing that without something is wild. Seeing those videos, the distance they're getting on that. So I have not got that. That's the purple variant of the sword, right?
Yep.
No, I haven't got it, and I haven't got the Claymore sword yet either. I assume it's a dungeon drop.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
other sword.
It drops from the boss, I believe.
The only thing I've got, which I've only
No, it's the
got,
second encounter.
Isluna.
Yeah, it's where you shoot the things.
Oh,
Gotcha.
okay, yeah, I
Yep.
gotcha.
Yeah, I got like the Isluna. I've got like two. I've got it to drop twice. But I've just been getting armor. I'm not really having much luck with the weapons out of there.
I'm not either. I've gotten one IS Luna after 6 or 7 clears now, so yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the sword either. I also have not seen the other half sword. Did you get it from like the chest in Zer's area, or did you get it from like beating dares?
I've got it from 3 different ways. I got it from Zer himself as a rank up. I've got it to drop from the special Taken Ogre that drops inside, that you can also get sugar cubes.
Jeez.
I got it dropped from there once, and then it dropped as a like the 3rd completion of the week.
Hey, can I ask you guys an embarrassing question?
Yeah.
Why are people calling that horse one? What am I missing?
I don't know. I missed it.
It's completely over my head. I feel like a big idiot.
Chad knows, I guess.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, he's not sharing.
Oh man, I only have one guess, because I don't know either, honestly. But I think, and I think it's because they had to have had a person behind the microphone making the horse noises. It's not a horse; it's a person making horse noises. It has to be. It's too. And I'm assuming that guy's name is Juan.
It's too serendipitous.
Yeah, it's too infinite nay for it to be a horse. But oh my gosh. I know I'm going back to the actual conversation. I know that I have done easily more than twice as many dares as Jared has, and I have not seen that sword once.
I'm over 60.
Are you over 60 now?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I think I'm ranked 12 with Zer, and I am about done with that. Like, I am real close to just being done. I need that catalyst, and once that hits, I am never touching it. I'm done.
It's a great
Whether I have the
it's a great cookie farm to get all the different
dude,
things
yeah,
you need to make cookies.
yeah, it's great, but dude, like 80 runs of that stuff is a lot to ask for.
Well,
Yeah,
they made this to fill
yeah,
the time to Witch Queen, right? Well, and
yeah.
like a
And
lot of
not
people are
everybody can
trying
be
to
Chad.
a lot of people are trying to get this done within a week, and you know,
Oops.
yeah, and have nothing to do until February 22nd. So
I got other games to play, man. But yeah, no, I have not seen that sword. I do have a bunch of keys though, so I should just sit in front of it, that chest, and just hit it over and over again until I get something.
How many keys
'Cause
do you need to open up all the stuff
the weapon,
inside?
all the stuff is 80.
That's
It
it?
should be exactly 80. Yes,
but you can only
it's
hold
easy,
so
dude.
many of them at one time.
Yeah, but you like if you open the chest as you go,
Yeah, yeah,
you'll
yeah.
be fine. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
finished
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I've only done 2 extra dares, and I have max keys on my characters and at least 8 keys on each postmaster. So I could just sit there and open that chest 40 times and just sit there.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Um, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go live right after this. Next question: have any of the cooldown changes in PvP changed your main in PvP?
Don't know. I haven't been in there.
Well,
Oh gosh,
I'm not letting Shadow Dive anymore, so
yeah. I only went in there with Jared for the Iron Banner because we're like, let's get some Iron Banner bounties done, and like
yeah.
2 games in, and neither of us is in double-digit percents. No, it was like 2 or 3 games, and we barely hit like 3 or 4% on the highest bounty, and we're like, nah, I'm not doing 60, 70 games of Banner just to do a bounty. I'm good. I am 100% good.
The
And yeah, my Titan didn't feel super great. I wasn't running any shoulder charge, so I didn't get to see how that felt being able to hit somebody and watch them shoot at me after. I'm sure that's not gonna feel good. But I'm mostly a running gunner in PvP, which is probably why I'm not super great. Because I lean on my guns a lot, and I don't pay attention to my abilities too much. I have to think about it a lot.
well, you should
Um,
be doing better now. So that's what the focus has been shifted to.
yeah, yeah, so that's true. Yeah, I haven't been in since I played Banana, got mad, and haven't been back in the regular
Yeah.
control. I should give that a shot.
Um, I don't want to put on stompies and be that kind of hunter. But they're kind of almost forcing me to do that. But what I've started really enjoying the most is Ophidians with Top Tree Dawn. It's so addicting. The movement, the fast swap speed, fast reload, like you're just always moving and doing something. So that is getting very addicting. And I need to start putting more time in on Warlock to get ready for day one because that's what I know I'll be running.
Lucky you.
Yeah, we need to make sure our other hunter isn't a hunter. For the world's first, because they're
Unless Void,
it's sadly just not.
unless Void 3.0 like really helps out hunters, but hunters kind of like if they're not making your teammates invisible, they have no place in game PvE.
Well, just with the changes that they made, Middle Tree is now officially 100% only PvP. Like
Yep.
it's just not good. Top Tree is only good for the invis dodge. The tether's just not good anymore for the time that you need. And then Bottom Tree is good, but you're only really using it because of Omnioculus.
Mm-hmm. The only
So
thing I would say about the Top Tree Void Hunter is to use it for blunt execution rounds, because you can throw that melee on a doorway, stay close to the doorway, be invis with the dodge when they come through, and then you get 150 damage with one burst from the BXR. So I think that build might be okay, but you're that's a pretty niche thing to do to try to make it viable in PvP.
Yeah.
All right, question.
All right, are we ready? Ready for the next question? Mm-hmm. I posted a link that shows what you might need to answer this next question in our little chat there. If you had to eat a dawning cookie, which would you choose?
Now we're talking human edible cookie or like with the ingredients that are listed in game.
The ingredients in game. So I'm gonna go with the strange cookie, with the taken butter, and the electric flour.
Electric flavor or electric flour?
I must have read it down wrong, but yeah, electric flavor. Yep. Yeah, I think that would bring some zing, and butter on everything's good.
Guess Chad's gonna let me go. Chad, do you have one? While I'm
Dude, I
looking here?
just saw this question. I was busy reading lore. I didn't. Okay. So what I can see here, I'm gonna go with the gentleman's shortbread with the ether cane and perfect taste because it's gotta taste perfect, and that's all I'm good with right there.
You eat some of that elixir blood, huh?
Shh, don't.
I'm gonna tell Saint on
They
you.
don't gotta know, man.
Don't tell Saint.
I think that was one really cool thing about the Donnie is you went back to that area from Splicer and gave all the elixir some cookies.
Yeah, that was fun. I do like that Saint was like, "Can I feed these to my birds?" I was like, "Yeah, you can, man."
I figured that Chad would eat Ada's hot crossfire buns. So I was really surprised.
Okay,
by
man,
his
this is a
choice.
Christian broadcast. Don't you bring buns into here?
You guys are supposed to like not react to that and just let it go.
I could never.
So I think I gotta go with the dark chocolate moats. Taken butter, null taste. I don't really know what the color purple tastes like. But I mean it looks pretty cool. It probably tastes pretty good. Dark chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
And me and the drifter, we can just sit and eat them together and just be best friends forever. That would be my pick.
Yeah. Yep. I'll go hang out with Zer. You give me all those Godwall exotics. All right, question 5.
Yeah.
What weapon wall do you hope to find under the tree for you? I'm gonna go with the Ice Luna. I want to go the fast draw sights, high caliber rounds, rangefinder, headstone, and then a range masterwork. That's what I want.
I want my slide shot reservoir glacioclasm. I want it. I also want a high impact under pressure because the one I got from last year is not that. So it's okay, but it's not that.
And I want the rocket that we talked about earlier.
Royal entry.
Yeah, or hothead. I'm fine either one.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to. I have a feeling what we always struggle with is DPS. So we're gonna need all the help we can. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Next week there's not going to be a TWAB. It'll be we'll probably record. I guess if there's not a TWAB, we don't have to wait till Thursday, do we?
I will not be.
I was going to
here
ask that
on Thursday.
Yeah.
So it definitely needs to be earlier.
So maybe like Wednesday night or something. We might.
Yeah,
record.
Wednesday works. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We will put something out next week. We'll record and then I'll probably still publish it on Thursday, just to keep the schedule going for the algorithms. But follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. I do want to take a second and talk about something real fast. So our clan that we're in, Spirit Animals, a year or so ago, a little over a year, one of our clanmates passed away from cancer, Killer Clown. And we've been blessed in the past to be able to do an event called Raiding Against Cancer, to where the proceeds that we raise from like donations and things go to the American Cancer Society. We do have that coming up this Saturday. It is a 24-hour stream that starts at like 10 a.m. Saturday and runs until 10 a.m. on Sunday. I know that I took a block from 10 p.m. Eastern time until like 2 a.m. Eastern time to where I'm gonna take people through raids that have never been. So if that's something you'd be interested in, reach out at Destiny CC Pod, or you know where to find us. So reach out and come be a part of it with us, and let's try to raise some money to defeat cancer finally.
Oh yeah, it's usually a fun time. You know, little gimmicks here and there. That you can definitely donate money and make it hard on them on some of the things they got going on. You know, some like drawbacks. You know, make people suffer a little bit. You know, could what people have to suffer going through cancer. It's no joke, and it takes too many lives. So,
Yeah.
I'll probably be in chat at some point trying to hang out, just to, give a donation and just see what's going on. But it's a good time.
We
Yeah, I'll
have
be.
lots of emblem codes as well that we'll be sprinkling out.
I'll definitely be in there with Ryan on that block, helping people out, running through some stuff. It's going to be fun, but it's definitely a very worthy cause and something I'm always happy to put some time in for it, for sure. It's even though I'm going to be in there while I'm at work, I'm going to donate and have some fun with the guys while I'm working. But I'll be in there right after. So
Go Cats! Love you guys.
oh man, I kind of had a little panic when you kept it going because I was like, oh, I gotta go number 2. All right, I'll be right back.
Are we still alive?